Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into a really fascinating topic today, the high-stakes logistical battlefield of political petition circulation. We're going to be unpacking some incredible insights from Austin McCullers. He's the president of American Ballot Operations, and what he has to say completely flips the script on how political campaigns gather those crucial signatures they need to get candidates or initiatives on the ballot. If you've always thought petitioning was just a casual stroll through a quiet neighborhood, well, you are in for quite a surprise today. Let's dive in. So, let's start with a basic question. Is petitioning really just a clipboard at a doorstep? Campaigns often picture this incredibly neat, calm process. You probably imagine a canvasser politely knocking on a suburban door, a voter with plenty of time to chat, and a clipboard just moving calmly from hand to hand. But as we're going to see, the street-level reality is completely different. It's louder, it's significantly faster, and honestly, it's so much more physically demanding than that idyllic picture. Austin McCullers really hits the nail on the head here. And this quote brilliantly illustrates why that doorstep myth is just so dangerous. He says petition circulation must be understood as a professional field operation rather than a disposable labor pool. By looking at it this way, McCullers and American Ballot Operations completely shatter that naive assumption we just talked about. They argue that real petitioning is a highly specialized craft. It isn't just handing someone a pen. It requires immense logistical coordination, real-time problem solving, and a serious level of professional skill. Okay, moving right along to Section 1, the battlefield, logistics over labor. Now, let's look at the huge disconnect here between campaign assumptions and reality. Campaigns might assume door knocking is just a controlled conversation, but out in the field, workers are constantly battling route fatigue, dodging aggressive dogs, and losing precious time to bad weather. Or take courthouse and event tables. Campaigns just assume, it's easy foot traffic and a captive audience, right? Well, the reality is that workers are managing complex access rules, incredibly short operational windows, and fierce competition for people's attention. They are constantly adapting to fast, volatile markets on the fly. It's like a giant puzzle they have to solve every single day. Which brings us to a really crucial question that campaigns absolutely must ask themselves. Is a cheap signature really cheaper? We're going to unpack the massive financial trap that campaigns fall into when they prioritize raw volume over signature validity. And let me tell you, this is where the math of petitioning gets incredibly fascinating. The whole thing really boils down to short-term appearances versus long-term realities. Hiring cheap, untrained bodies might look wonderfully inexpensive on a campaign spreadsheet at first glance. You get a high daily volume and, sure, it feels like a win. Actually, scratch that. It feels like a win for about a day because the long-term result is a disastrous mix of high turnover, immense legal risk, weak morale, and devastatingly low signature validity. Listen, a cheap signature is completely worthless if it fails validation. A high raw count literally means nothing if your sheets are just filled with unqualified voters, missing dates, or illegible handwriting. And that's exactly why American Ballot Operations pushes for a total mindset shift toward this concept of the field entrepreneur. Rather than treating these workers as disposable labor, we have to view them as professional circulators. These are individuals who actively manage risk, compliance, and foot traffic to produce clean, valid signatures. Why? Because invalid signatures literally erase their hard-earned income. When they're paid by the valid signature, you better believe they fiercely protect their sheets. They're out there watching traffic patterns, adjusting their pitch, and calculating in real time whether a location is even worth their effort. All right, let's look at Section 2. Managing public access. You see, producing valid signatures isn't just about finding a willing voter. It's a constant, ongoing operational battle to secure locations that are both legal and highly practical. This is the true reality of the ground game. Without clear, actionable guidance from campaign headquarters, these experienced workers are essentially left to negotiate space on their own. They have to de-escalate heated conflicts with building security, carefully avoid blocking pedestrian flow, and vigorously protect the campaign's public image, all while legally asserting their rights to be there. That is a massive amount of responsibility resting squarely on the shoulders of the person holding the clipboard. At its core, professionalism is risk management, and this is especially true during those chaotic street blitzes. A street blitz drops multiple workers into a high-traffic area, going for maximum visibility and volume. But without strict discipline, it just becomes a chaotic mess that really irritates the public. And in today's world, one bad interaction caught on a smartphone camera can travel faster online than 100 good signatures. So professionalism isn't just about being polite. It's absolutely crucial for actively managing the risk to the entire campaign. Which leads us into Section 3, the travel crew pressure. So picture this. A campaign is falling significantly behind. Those terrifying deadlines are looming. And they can't just rely on local volunteers anymore. So what do? They call in the heavy cavalry, national travel crews. The sheer speed at which these travel crews have to operate is just staggering. I mean, they have to arrive in an entirely new city, immediately learn all the complex local rules, secure temporary housing, and adapt to completely new local market foot traffic patterns. And they have to do the whole shebang so they can produce valid, clean signatures by the very next morning. If headquarters hasn't coordinated the logistics perfectly, these crews spend their first day just putting out fires instead of gathering signatures, and the campaign bleeds precious time. Let's wrap things up with Section 4, a professional craft. Everything we've talked about is exactly why Austin McCullers and American Ballot Operations emphasize so heavily that successful petition circulation is all about building comprehensive systems. You have to build systems that allow highly skilled people to actually do their jobs effectively. These professionals perform this crazy balancing act every single day. They must persuade voters without ever misleading them, they have to move incredibly fast without cutting any legal corners, and they need to stay motivated despite facing endless waves of public rejection. This is human contact mixed with strict legal precision, executed under severe time pressure. It is, for sure, anything but unskilled labor. Because ultimately, the field is where political plans actually become real. The worker with the clipboard isn't some afterthought or just a warm body filling a quota. They are the frontline protector of valid signatures. They are the primary contact point with the voting public. The difference between a campaign qualifying for the ballot and failing completely often rests entirely in their hands. Which leaves us with this final stark question based on McCullers' insights. Will your campaign build a professional operation or learn the hard way? Campaigns that respect the logistical reality of the field, the ones that invest in systems, training, and professional field entrepreneurs, those are the ones that will succeed. But the ones stubbornly clinging to those doorstep myths, prioritizing cheap, raw volume over actual validity, they are practically doomed to fail. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I ask you, what kind of operation would you build?